Hey everybody, it's Benny One, and I'm back at you with another Batman movie review, and today we are moving on to The Dark Knight, everybody. And this movie came out in 2008, everybody, and it is a sequel to Batman Begins, obviously. And the movie takes place I think about a year and a half after Batman Begins, so Batman has been around for at least a solid year, for sure. I'm pretty sure it's a year and a half. I can't remember if they say that in the movie. I think they do. I know it's over a year. So yeah, he's been Batman for a while, so he's been on the street working with the police and Commissioner Gordon, even though he's mainly only working with Commissioner Gordon because they're supposed to capture Batman still. He still hasn't fully become like that iconic, he works right alongside the cops thing going on there, but he does, but he's not supposed to be. It's kind of that thing going on. So first of all, we got to talk about the amazing cast in this movie. For one thing, Christian Bale does an amazing job playing Batman in this movie, and Bruce Wayne. I honestly feel like his Bruce Wayne side of this story is him at his best playing Bruce Wayne. His Batman is good too, just as good. The voice gets a little more growly in this movie, and that continues on into the next movie. He takes it a little overboard in the next movie, but yeah, his Bruce Wayne in this movie, phenomenal. Probably I would say it's the best on-screen Bruce Wayne that we've gotten in any of the movies. He gets a new bat suit in this movie. I love this new bat suit. It's tactical. It looks like armor. He can move his head for the first time in a live action movie. Love it. I love the bat suit in this movie. And I forgot to talk about the Tumbler in the first Batman Begins, the first review I did for this trilogy. The Tumbler is my favorite Batmobile. I love that it's like a freaking fast tank. It's like a freaking sports car and a tank, and they had a freaking baby. I love the Tumbler. And we get the Bat Pod, like the Bat motorcycle, in this movie also, because the Batmobile gets destroyed and the two front tires on the Batmobile bust out of it and it forms into this Bat Pod thing, and that thing is awesome because the wheels on that thing spin like this also. They like rotate sideways. Makes for some very cool scenes with it in the movie for sure. And then we also have Michael Caine returning to play Alfred. Awesome. He does a great job once again. Gary Oldman returns to play Gordon. He's a lieutenant now. He's not, but he also gets promoted to Commissioner Gordon in the movie too. So if you haven't watched, I'm sorry, spoilers. Geez, there's major spoilers. If you haven't seen this movie yet, you've been living under a rock, because this literally still today is one of the best comic book movies that has ever been made today, alongside Avengers, Infinity War, Endgame, all that shit. This still is one of the best comic book movies to ever be made, flat out, because it's a great movie for one thing. Like, not just a comic book movie, it's a great movie as a whole. So but yeah, Michael Caine's great, Gary Oldman's great. What's her name? The Gyllenhaal sister, Maggie Gyllenhaal, I think is her name. She's the one that got recast as Rachel. I actually prefer her more as Rachel. I like her more as Rachel. I think her on-screen chemistry with Christian Bale is better. So, and her character meets an unfortunate fate in this movie. And that has to do with one of our newcoming cast members, and that is Harvey Dent, played by Aaron Eckhart. He does a fantastic job playing Harvey Dent. Like, fantastic. And the journey that they take that character on to turn him into Two-Face is done so well. Like, you can just see it through the movie. He slowly starts that hero that Harvey Dent is, like the face of Gotham that Bruce is trying to get him to be, and the White Knight that he's being built up to be. It slowly, throughout this movie, gets chipped away, just chip, and you can just see the Two-Face coming out in him. And then when he gets burnt on the one side and everything, which looks phenomenal, they did such a good job with making that look so realistic with the CG effects and everything. Like, we don't get the Tommy Lee Jones thing with the purple burnt face. It looks like a burnt face, and his suit looks burnt. Awesome. They did a phenomenal job with Two-Face. But I'm saving the best for last. Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker. It's iconic. It's amazing. I still think it's my favorite portrayal of the Joker. Joaquin Phoenix's Joker was phenomenal itself, but it's just different than this Joker, because this is more of like a comic booky type version that's realistic, whereas like Joaquin's Joker was actually like real life. Like, if that happened to one of your neighbors and they decided to go crazy, like, in this movie, we get more of a realistic comic book version of the Joker. And Heath Ledger completely disappeared in this movie as this character. And there's all sorts of stuff that was said when he passed away, whether it was because of this role, yada, 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 because he really dived deep into this role. He locked himself away in a room and read comic books, got ready for this role and everything. Like, I think I remember Nolan telling him the first thing that he wants him to like use to study and read to get ready for this role, he wanted him to read The Killing Joke, because the Joker in that book literally shoots Barbara Gordon in the back and then strips her naked while she's bleeding on the floor dying, takes pictures of her, and then later on shows them to her father, Commissioner Gordon, while he's tied up naked also in the Joker's hideout area, and shows her the naked pictures of his daughter bleeding to death on the ground. Yeah. So Heath Ledger disappeared completely in this character. Awesome job. They did such a phenomenal job. I love the look of him, the makeup, and everything. I dressed up as him for Halloween in 2009 when I had really long hair. I had long hair and everything, and I love this guy. He did a phenomenal job with this character, and it was just amazing. It's sad that he passed away after this movie. Like, it's just really sad because it was such a phenomenal performance. Would have loved to see more from him, and he was so young. So yeah, great cast in this movie. Seriously, great cast. So this movie has just this great amount of tension in it, and they introduce these themes that are established in the beginning of this movie, and this movie's perfectly crafted because they introduce these themes and then they explore these themes throughout the movie, and especially in like the middle part of the movie, and they show these dominoes that are like falling just throughout the movie with this crafted movie of these themes that were introduced. And then by the end of the movie, it's all these like just emotional big payoffs with all of these themes that were established in the very beginning of the movie. It's all paid off by the end of the movie. The movie has great action. Like I said, it's got great tension, great character moments, like great stuff. Like the stuff that the Joker is doing, putting Gotham through, is just awesome. Like anytime he's on screen, he steals the show completely. Whether he's on screen with Two-Face, Batman, it does not matter. That scene where Gordon gets promoted to Commissioner Gordon and he's just sitting in that cell like watching, and his feet are tapping up and down, and like when they tell him that he's Commissioner Gordon now, he's the new commissioner, like he's all like, that whole sequence is awesome. Just great. This movie is amazing. Yeah, you could nitpick the movie and find plot holes here and there, but you know what? For a comic book movie based on a solo comic book character, this movie is amazing. It's phenomenal. It's one of the best comic book movies, like I said, that has ever been made to date. It's an amazing, like, high tension crime thriller comic book action based movie. Like, it's awesome. And you guys already probably know what I'm going to give it. I'm giving this bad boy a 10 out of 10. It is a perfect movie for me still today after all these years. I love it. It's still, I don't even know if I had to rank my comic book movies in general, I guarantee you it would be in the top 3. I guarantee you. So 10 out of 10 for The Dark Knight, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed that review. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And Be catching you on the tube laters, because I have spoken.